guys, so today we have a video of, oh my god, ignore this spot. I've been trying to fight it for a whole day and I think I've done a pretty decent job. It's basically gone down now completely in a day from being a mountain, and it's because I slathered retinol on it, like pure retinol, and then I put salicylic acid on it and I kept it on there for 24 hours just marinating, and somehow it has now gone smaller, but on camera it just looks insane. Anyway, today we're doing kind of like a first impressions but also a full face. This is weird. The brand I'm talking about, I'm missing a few of the products, not because like I didn't have time to buy them, purely because I didn't want to buy them. Like that is just the tea. This is one of my favorite brands though, but this is kind of a first impressions of new releases from this brand, plus just trying like older products that they've had. So this is just like a cool all-around vibe, aesthetic, feel. Today we're talking about Anastasia Beverly Hills. I had a little go at Beauty Bay on Twitter because it's insane how trash their packaging is when they're sending you mainly like eyeshadow palettes and just palettes in general full of gentle, delicate powders. Anastasia Beverly Hills had, you guys know, okay, let me just preface this by saying I'm not a big fan of big palettes, and it's not like I'm not a fan of big palettes because I think there is a bargain there to be had. However, when you have as many eyeshadow palettes as I do, to buy a 20-30 pan palette, spend X amount of money on it, and then only use 20% of the shades, it gets a little bit, like it's not a bargain anymore. You're just wasting 80% of the money that you spent when you could have taken that money, spent it on a 9-pan palette, and actually used all of the shades in said 9-pan palette. So I went on Beauty Bay and I'm just perusing, but I opened the front page and it says that all of Anastasia Beverly Hills is only 20% off. This was my moment to shine because I already had most of the small like suede palettes, you know, the velvety ones. So I was like, oh, I don't need any more of those. I have the ones that I really liked. I don't really want the other ones that I didn't buy. Like if I didn't buy it, I didn't want it. However, what did catch my eye is these bad boys, right? So I bought the pink one, the Norvina palette, and the one with the butterflies on it. Now, I had the blue one in my basket and then I looked myself dead in the eye. That's not possible, but I did look myself dead in the inside eye and I said, you don't look good in dark eyeshadows. Take it out of your basket. And I took it out of my basket and I kept these in. Now, these came in completely smashed. Here's the picture that I already posted in my last video. I didn't think they were salvageable. And then when I took off the foil bit, I was like, I think I could do something here. So I emailed Beauty Bay. Oh, I also bought the Luna palette and also came smashed. So that was just fantastic. But that one was just one shade. I pressed it back in. I was like, I'll accept a discount. But these ones, I was sure I had to return them. And then they said to me that they could do a refund. But I was like, I want an exchange because I want these for the 20% off discount. And by the time these came broken, like discount was already gone. So I was like, I'm not going to be able to get them on the discount, which means I'm just not going to get them at all. Anyway, so then I decided to repress them. And then they offered me an extra 40% discount, which means these were actually 60% off. I think that is a bargain for a few shades that came cracked. I'm trying to figure out which one I'll use today, but I kind of know which one I'm going to use today. So this is this one. It's, oh, look at that, the Norvina palette. Okay, so this is this one. It's absolutely stunning. I don't know why I didn't think of getting this one before. It is such full vibes. It feels like, oh my god, look at me. It feels like the border between summer and autumn. Like, if you know what I mean, like when you get to the end of summer, starting to get into autumn, like you can do some summery looks, you can do some autumn looks. I'm feeling vibes. Anyway, the one that came the most smashed is this one, this orangey one. And tell me that I don't have 5,000 orangey shades. Like, I don't care if this one's like dented in. I'm like, that's the shade I probably care the least about out of this whole palette. I like the mattes. Then this turquoise one also came smashed, like this greeny turquoise. Just pressed it back in, it's fine. This gold came smashed, and this blue, which I pressed these together. The gold I also have, even in some other Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, I have this exact shade in the Soft Glam palette. I'm more so excited about all the mattes, like this weird like yellowy shades. Oh, it's just such a vibe. Anyway, I'm even more excited about this palette. So this is the pink Norvina palette. I was on the verge, even when I was doing an anti-haul with this palette, I was like, I am on the verge, and I need you guys to persuade me to not get it, and you guys persuaded me. But then we didn't account for the 60% discount that I just received. So here it is. This yellow shade right here is Everything That Dreams Are Made Of. Also this neon shade here, Everything That Dreams Are Made Of. Which shade was it that I really, really like? Oh, this pastel purple. You guys know how I love my purples. I love the Soul Main palette from Odin's Eye for that exact reason, because it has that nice pastel purple shade in there. And I feel like I am a woman from the 70s, just going to a disco. I'm putting my purple eyeshadow on. I also really like this pink shade. It's got a certain creaminess to it while also being pastel. I think it looks a little darker in the camera. I'm definitely going to be using this one today. I'm feeling, right, hear me out, a pink look with a neon yellow inner corner and a tiny bit of smidge of like this glitter shade, or like one of this this one. Oh, with these ones, the ones that came cracked were this silver shade, which like you can barely see that I repressed it. Like if it wasn't for this hole right here for when I smushed my finger in there, like you wouldn't be able to tell. Then it was this purple shade, which you probably can't even tell that it was repressed. And then this shade, which I have 10 times over. So like, you know, for a 60% discount, I think it's a bit of a bargain. Anyway, I was so proud of myself for this repressing. I think these palettes look absolutely gorgeous, even for being so big. And you guys know how I feel about big palettes. I think these are actually curated shades. So this is how this whole video started. It was just with me buying these palettes. And then these came out, which are the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip stains. So I bought 3 shades that I knew that I'd be into, and these shades look fantastic in person. Oh my god, even better than online. I'm glad I took all 3. So we have this like nudie brown shade, then we have this nudie pinky lighter shade, and then we have this mauve purpley shade, and I'm just like, with this pink Norvina palette. I also ended up getting the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pen that just came out, and I got it in the shade taupe, because what I've realized is if you're getting a pencil, you can get it a bit darker because you can do lighter strokes. If you're getting a pomade or a gel or a brow flick type pencil, you have to get it a little bit lighter because the inkiness of it makes it look darker. So I got taupe instead of medium brown, which is my usual shade of Anastasia Beverly Hills. Also, finally, I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Lash Brag mascara, which has recently come out. It's still a semi-new release, and I still haven't tried it. It is a volumizing mascara, which I love to hear because I don't like lengthening. We've got length as it is. I want volume. Okay, let me use one of my Project Pan products because I've started to forget to use it, which is a shame because I'm like almost finished with it, which is like a vibe. It's actually just a vibe. What I've been wanting to talk to you guys about is, okay, if you're a native English speaker, this will make absolutely no sense to you. However, I moved to England, to London. I feel like some of you don't know that I live in London, because in my last video I said I was looking for a house in London. You guys were like, oh my god, you're moving to London, it's so expensive. I'm like, I've been here. I know how expensive it is because I've been here for the last like 12 years of my life. So I've come accustomed to being ripped off. However, what I was going to say is I moved here when I was 8. So obviously there was a bit of a learning curve with like, you know, English. Actually, I watched a lot of like, you know, Cartoon Network and so on and so forth shows in Polish in Poland before I came here, because I was obviously a kid that watched TV, but I watched it in Poland in Polish because I didn't know English. And then I came here and I still had Polish TV because that's what a lot of immigrants do. We still watch like our native TV for some reason. I think it's just for like memory's sake of just like, oh, trying to keep up with what's happening in your country. So anyway, I watched Disney Channel and Nickelodeon and all of that on Polish TV while being here. So I actually watched Polish TV until the age of about 14. But I read books exclusively in English, but watched TV exclusively in Polish. Such a weird dynamic. Anyway, it's the reason probably why I'm still like fluent in Polish, because I watch Polish TV. What that means is when I discuss childhood shows with English native speakers, sometimes I just say something really wrong. Like I'll pronounce a name of a character really wrong, and they look at me really weird, and I'm like, oh, it's because they Polishified it. Right, this is embarrassing. Like when I watch Witch, so a lot of you guys are intrigued by my, it's right here, it's my collection of, I've got like a bunch of the Witch graphic novels. I bought whichever ones they had in bulk, and then now they're coming out every like 2 months or so, so I'm like waiting. They used to come out as comics in magazines, so you'd buy the Witch magazine, you'd have a few little articles in there, and then there would be like 1 volume of these in that magazine, and my parents would buy it for me every single week. Like every single weekend, I had my magazine ready to go, and I would read it, because Witch was my favourite thing. I had everything from Witch. I had duvet, like clock on the wall, mouse pad, folders, little notebooks to write in, pencils, pencil case, like toys. I had everything from Witch because I was absolutely obsessed. Will being my favourite character, obviously, because I have the leader vibes. Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation, which, as you guys know, is one of my favourite foundations, if not like the favorite. Like if I had to, you know, I love all of my foundations for specific reasons, but this is just like an all-rounder. You can sheer it down, you can amp it up, you can make it luminous, you can make it matte. It just looks fantastic either way. The first time I read these was when I was a child and in Polish, and the first time I watched the TV show was in Polish. I like to like rewatch childhood TV shows every now and then to feel something. And I tried to rewatch in English, and the voices sounded different because it was different voice actors. They pronounced the names a little bit wrong. Like they pronounced it correctly, but in my head it was wrong. And I had to rewatch in Polish. I cannot watch Witch in English. It just sparks some anger in me. I'm like, this makes no sense. I can't understand what they're saying. The only show from my childhood that I've managed, I've managed to watch Disney Channel shows in English because I think it's just different. It's like actors, like actual live characters. I mean, like actual live actors. It just feels a little bit like less invasive to me. But when it's like a cartoon, I'm like, this feels wrong. So the only shows I've managed to watch is Disney Channel shows. Like if I rewatch Sweet Life of Zack and Cody or whatever, I watch it in English. And then H2O Just Add Water, I've also watched in English now, and I can kind of like, you know, I'm okay with it. I'm alright. Even though to go from a Polish accent to an Australian accent, that is a skip. I've now bridged the gap and I've managed to read these graphic novels in Polish, and it feels alright because I literally cannot remember a single thing. I have like glimpses of memories of reading this thing, but as a whole, I can't remember much. So it's okay for me to read these in English. However, if I was to rewatch the show, it would have to be in Polish. And you can actually find it on YouTube in Polish and in English. So like, you know, the choice is there, but I'm genuinely just like, I have to watch it in Polish. I can read it in English, but I have to watch it in Polish. And I don't know, if you guys are like immigrants, do you have the same thing where like there are certain things that you can't watch in a different language because you already watched it or listened to it in your language, and now you're just kind of like, this feels wrong if I do it any other way? Am I just weird? Is this something that only I'm experiencing? Also the whole like getting characters' names wrong, or like, you know, just pronouncing things wrong because that's how you learn to pronounce them. Is that just like a me thing? So yeah, I feel like my childhood is just very different to like, you know, when I came here, obviously the childhood kind of like equaled out, but even then I would watch Polish TV. So I was like, you know, when kids were talking about like what happened on BBC or ITV or CBBC, I was like, I have no clue what you're talking about. All I know is Polish Disney Channel and Nickelodeon and Boomerang and Disney XD and Cartoon Network. I don't know about your BBC, CBBC stuff. Don't get me involved. I don't want to know. So yeah, I was always out of the loop when it came to like British shows. So I don't know if like people in America have the same thing, where if they came over as kids, there are certain things that Americans do that you just never did, and then when they mention it, you're just kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, this foundation, as always, looks stunning. I didn't even have a mirror to do this foundation. I did it in the viewfinder and like, it looks stunning. It blends itself out. You know, if there's one thing you're going to take out of this video, it's that this foundation is absolute beautifulness. It looks fantastic. I even use it if I don't wear concealer. I can just put it under my eyes, and it's one of the only foundations that just doesn't look like a mess. I have it in the shade 120W. I get all my foundations always in the warm golden tones because I'm so pale that if I don't get it in the warm, I look like I'm dead. So I try to balance my paleness out with some warmth, you know, so that I actually look like I'm an alive human being. Now, let me see if this concealer ruins everything that we've done here. I feel like I've been speaking for 18 minutes and I've done absolutely nothing of value, so that's cool. But I did just tell you my immigrant, you know, struggles of not being able to fit in. But it's not like I ever actually cared. I just kind of, it was just funny. I was like, CBBC? This is what the Jouer Concealer looks like. It's in one of those stick thingies, and I think you're supposed to press here. The only thing about these is if you like roll it up too much, you're screwed because you can't like put it back in. See that? Okay, so if you don't put it out too much, you're fine. I have in the shade Snow because it was one of the lightest shades and it was actually on sale, so I was like, let me grab this one. Uh-oh, it's a little bit, oh actually it's warming up. I thought it felt very stiff for a minute and I panicked. I was like, I'm not going to be okay with this. Let me just do a little, you know, a little line there. I'm gonna sneeze because of my allergies, it's killing me. Considering it's like a highlighty shade for me, let me just put it everywhere. This could be a mistake or this could be a vibe. I mean, I like the stick aspect of it because you can just like easily carve things out. It's kind of cool. It does get messy though, so that's something you have to be careful with. I'm scared because it's a stick concealer, it's not gonna blend with a sponge because that sometimes happens. Oh actually, you know what, I think this is all right. So far not my favorite. Okay, I have a foundation Kabuki. Oh yeah, this I think this is a tad bit better, but it already removed. It did some patchiness here. It's not the best concealer I've ever used. I think I'm essentially just going to use it as like spot concealing probably. Actually, you know what? I'm kind of conflicted about this concealer now because I'm actually not sure if I love it or hate it. Could be both. Could be both. It's like it's hard to blend, but then once you kind of get it going, it becomes super easy to blend, but I'm not sure if I love it or hate it. I mean, the biggest test is how does it look under my eyes, and if it looks fine under my eyes, I'll accept it into the home. I mean, it looks fine under the eyes. I don't think that's bad at all. I just hate using brushes under my eyes because I always poke myself in the eye and then my eye gets super red because I've got really sensitive eyes. The only thing is, I find that the foundation doesn't work super well with the Hydro Grip Primer. This is the second time I'm using it with the Hydro Grip Primer, and I find in some areas it gets a little bit pilly, like it pills a little bit. Pilly. I don't have the powder because, as you guys know, I don't buy new powders very often. So I'm just going to use my Glossier Powder because we know it works. Let me go in with the Hourglass. I'm just going to use this big one because today I just cannot be asked to try and dig into that palette. I'm going to try and repress it maybe. That could be the way to finish off the powders in my Ghost Edit palette. Then I'm just going to quickly grab my Hourglass Messed Up powder. This is how far ahead I am in the Project Pan vibes. Take it on the little sponge and then put it on top of any areas that need a little more help. Okay, so I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills primer today, considering this is an Anastasia Beverly Hills mainly video. Some of you guys said you hated this primer. I've used it before. I don't mind it. I think it's very white, which helps with the colors we're going in today, which, you know, they're more pastel-y, more neon-y, so I'm hoping this helps them pop. But some of you guys said it created patchiness. Oh, also, I was gonna say I tweeted out recently a really funny tweet because I got my first parking ticket. Woo! Some of you guys were wondering, you know, like, I mean, I guess on Twitter, some of you guys don't know that I literally haven't been driving for very long. So some of you guys were like, oh my god, how did you manage to go so long without it? Because I'm 20, so I'm assuming people think I've been driving for ages. So I actually got my license in December because I started out kind of late because I kept on putting off the lessons and stuff. I don't know. And then I ended up passing my test pretty quickly after starting my lessons, which is nice. I think I started them kind of September time, and then by December I was doing the test. I actually managed to not read a sign properly, so I've been parking there for a while, but I always parked at the same time. And then one time I parked at a different time, and turns out that that time I wasn't supposed to park there. But because I had never parked there at that time, I didn't realize that it was an issue, and now I know it's an issue and I'm not going to park there anymore. Anyway, this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pen. You guys know that I love the one from Glossier, so I'll be comparing it kind of to that because that's the one I use. But apparently they had these before. They weren't super popular, so they kind of stopped making them. And now that these are back in people's good books, they want to make them again. So let's see. This is what the tip looks like. It's pretty skinny. I mean, so far, so good. With these kind of brow pens, I like to do a few strokes and then just tap to get most of the inkiness off. And that helps to create like a more natural. This pen is definitely thicker. It creates a thicker line than the brow flick, so it just kind of depends. Like if you have more sparse brows, I guess this is quicker, but then it can look a little less natural. The shade is absolutely stunning. It's like a much better fit for me than the brow flick one. With the brow flick, I have to use the brown because the blonde is going to be too light for me, but then the brown is a little bit too dark for me if I kind of overdo it. This one, the taupe, is absolutely like a beautiful shade. And you know what? The thick line doesn't look bad. Okay, bit of an issue. Some of the brow gel got removed through the setting spray. I'm hoping that's not like a common occurrence because, you know, you don't want your setting spray to remove your brow pencil. Oh my god, I can't speak today. I'm gonna use one of these like flat. This is the Morphe M433. For some reason I have a Morphe brush. I'm pretty sure, aren't these supposed to be pressed pigments? Isn't that what was being said about them? That they're a little bit harder to work with because they're pressed pigments? I mean, this is going to be a pink look. This is probably the most pink I've gotten in a while. I'm like trying to reach this like ultimate level of pink. It's a little bit patchy and I'm not sure if that's the prime. Did I just pull my... That was insane. Please no one take notice. I'm wondering if it's the eyeshadow primer and you guys are correct and that it's just a bad primer, because if that's the case then that would explain the patchiness. The slight patchiness. It's not crazy, but it's still a little bit, you know. I've set down most of the color that I want from this eyeshadow. Let me just blend it out. I am then going to go into, I'm thinking between C2, okay, C2 and this neon one. Now we could go full neon and this could be a look that we create. Yeah, let's go for it. I'm gonna go into E5, which is that neon look, with my Sigma Soft Blend 10, which is from the new brush collection that I bought. It's that thing happening where you set down the shadow and then you start to blend it and it's blending away. Maybe I need a more sticky primer, but let me just add some of that pigment back in because I really want that hot pink to come through. Like, I want the hot pink vibes. I want it. I want nothing but the hot pink vibes. Okay, so this is where we're at with the hot pink. It's a little bit patchy. It's like more hot pink here than at the top. I'm gonna try add a little bit more hot pink. You know what? This is going to come together. It's fine. The thing is, whenever you work with problematic shadows, there's always like one person that's like, you used it wrong, you're only supposed to press it down. But it's like, you do understand that eyeshadows have to be blended out though, right? Like, you do understand that you do have to do a little bit of blending out, because there's always one person that's like, oh my god, you did it so wrong, oh my god, like, don't you know that you're supposed to like just press it on and do nothing with it? This is a little bit patch. D2, which is that neon yellow that I really wanted to use, and I'm gonna put it in the inner corner. Okay, this isn't super pigmented, but it's getting me somewhere. It's not as yellow as I wanted it to be, but that's fine. It's a little bit more powdery because of how much of that yellow I'm having to layer on. See, when you're patting the shades on, they look fine. It's when you try and blend them out. Okay, actually, you know what? Even now, I'm patting it on and it gets a little bit patchy. Oh, see, like, I'm trying to blend it out and it just is getting patchy. Blending this out is a big no-no, considering it sticks to the lash line but it doesn't blend anywhere else. I look absolutely awful, dreadful, really. I'm going to show you guys how this looks up close because it's not great. I mean, I'm applying the yellow. The yellow is a little bit disappointing only because, you know, you expect it to be as punchy as in the pan and then it's not, but it's probably just, it needs like a white base. However, okay guys, look at this eyeshadow. It's kind of, it patches up right here and then you try to blend it out and it essentially turns into just one big pink mess. I mean, the fact that I bought two of these, a little bit sad. Don't know about formulating, but working with pink eyeshadows has never been an issue for me. I wear pink eyeshadows all the time. I will take it off and I will try again. I used the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. I applied it with my finger and I essentially slathered it on, and because it's like that tacky surface consistency finish, the Huda Pastel shade really popped on it and I managed to do like an all over the eye blown out look. Now if I managed to do that with Huda eyeshadows, which are apparently, you know, inferior to Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadows, then I should be able to do it with palettes that originally cost over £60. Okay, we'll do one eye at a time so it doesn't crease. I'm giving this a really fair shot. Giving it more than a fair shot because I would have probably given up by now if it was anything else. If it was just in my free time, I would have given up. Okay, I'll try the purple. Just for funsies. Purple's more difficult than pink. At this point, I'm just like, you know what? Put purple in the palette, it's supposed to work. And if you can't get purple to work, don't put it into a palette, you know? If this works, I am just going to assume that the Anastasia Beverly Hills base simply is bad. Let me slowly, in small circles, start blending it out. If anyone's like, oh, you're swinging it back and forth. Anyway, I'm just blurring the edges very gently. I'm trying here. Then I'm gonna go into A3, which is kind of a semi-shimmery, kind of a pinky, kind of a purpley. I'm gonna try swatcheroo it. Looks like this. And put it all over and blend it into that purple. This is such a pretty shade. I want it to work. Okay, it's blending away. That's fine. We'll apply a little bit more. Don't be shy, put some more. Losing my mind a tiny bit because this is still kind of difficult. And I just feel like every time you add more and more, you just look worse and worse. You can be like, oh, well, this requires like practice and learning. And it's like, you know, if you see how easy, I'm actually going to do this right now. You know what? I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to actually create a purple monochromatic look. Here, Just wait, just give me a moment. Okay. This here is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette, which costs over £60. Here is the Odin's Eye Soul Main palette, which has this beautiful periwinkle purpley blue shade. So I'm going to dip into the Soul Main. Look at that, builds up beautifully. I'm gonna put it all over the eyelid. So I remember loving how that turned out. I am blending and nothing is blending away. It stays where I want it to stay while also blending out. I'm kind of losing my mind, can you tell? Because like this palette literally costs £25. Well, 25 euros, which is even less, you know? So it's like, you'd think that this quality would be far less superior to this quality, but it's actually superior. Look, I am able to flick it out and not make a travesty of my whole look. Look at that. Flick, flick. And you know, these are difficult shades to master, like these weird purpley bluey shades. Yeah. People said, oh, you know, you just struggled with the blue in the Ace Beauté palette because you don't do colourful looks. It didn't fluff out everywhere. It stuck, but it also moved around. Look at that. Look at the difference. And then you just tap over the middle, slightly graze the edges. I like to take this shade right here. It's like a mauvey brownie, just right on the edges to soften them up and blend them like into my skin. Wow. Who would have thunk it that this is a £68 palette? It just is a patchy mess, and this is a £25 palette. Now I want to try one of these shimmery shadows. Let me take A2, which is that purpley shade, and apply it bang in the middle, and then I'll just do the same on the other eye just for comparison's sake. Obviously the purple looks different because it's on a different base. I just more or less wanted to show you guys that it's not like a me problem, it's more just a problem with eyeshadows. Like, so there's this one, which is, like I said, a £60 palette. It's patchy in here, it's patchy up here, it just blended out everywhere. And then there's this one, which just blended out like a dream. Like I'm not sure why that is the case, because I can literally go over it and, you know, blend some more. Look, nothing's blending away. I'm adding extra, but whatever I put underneath isn't blending away. This one, on the other hand, I can't say the same. So far I am disappointed. I still want to try this palette because I think the color scheme is absolutely stunning. But the thing is, now I'm scared because like these purpley shades, I mean, you know, the green shades, they could be a mess. But I'm hoping the mascara fixes things for me. It's got a similar one to the Too Faced mascara. Oh wow, that is length, separation. I love this mascara. Oh, and also I used the purple bluish shade from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette, like the original formula, and that one is miles ahead of this one, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it was a very similar shade to this and it performed like this. This one, I don't know what to say about it, honestly. This is what the lashes look like. I think this is such a good mascara. It separates like straight away. This mascara, absolutely stunning. Like, look at those lashes. They're not spidery, but they're just like nice and long, but also a little bit voluminous. I'm going to swatch the lip stains because I think these could be what saves this day. This is the Rosewood shade, which I wonder what the applicator is like. Oh, it's kind of just like a doe foot. Let me swatch these. Okay, so this is what Rosewood looks like. Very similar to the packaging, quite frankly, which I appreciate because sometimes the packaging looks, you know, like this, and then you get something completely different and you're like, oh. This is Dusty Rose, which is this lighter pink one. These are very watery though, like super watery. Oh, they smell lovely. Oh my god, I can't. It smells like a sweet, like something from a childhood. And then I have the exciting one. It's called Grey Mauve. I'm hoping it doesn't make me look dead. But I'm probably gonna do this one with this look considering it's all purple and bluey. Oh, this one I'm kind of iffy about. I mean, I'm not sure about it because this is very different. I don't know. I'll do it anyway, just for the sake of it. I'm not gonna lip line because I don't think that's how these are supposed to be used. You know what? On the lips, it looks very different. This shade isn't my favorite. It looks a little bit like I'm dead. And when I smack my lips together, it gets patchy. It's patching up a little bit. This is disappointing. I'm gonna try this one. Okay, it's like so close to my lip color that it has to look good. Okay. I can get behind this shade. So this is what that looks like. I think it creates that, you know, like that K-beauty look. The only issue with these is it seems like wherever you press this down is where most of the pigment stays. So I pressed a little bit there and that's kind of where it stayed. I have the Kylie blotted lips and I have the Odin's Eye blotted lips, like blotted lips kind of like where you can do the liquid lipstick and blot it out, and I think those look a little bit better. But I'm going to work with these. Maybe there's like a different method to these. I know I saw on the videos that some of them use the brush. These are the shades. This is what they're supposed to look like when they dry down, but you can see a little bit of patchiness, you know, where there's some more being applied and you kind of can't move it at that point. And that's what happens on the lips. You can see right here is patchy. I don't know, I'll play with these, maybe with a little bit of gloss on top. This could be saved, but then I don't want to do that much finessing to make something work. I also have a brand new juice set because I used to use these all the time. Oh, I forgot how aggressive this is, but it smells really nice. It smells like shampoo I used to use as a kid. I don't know if that makes sense. This, once it dries, it gives that beautiful dewy finish, which I kind of need considering what's happening here. The mascara, incredible. I'll probably repurchase it if it's like on sale or something, because I like to buy mascaras on sale. The foundation I love. I don't think the foundation works with the Hydro Grip Primer, which is now what I've learnt. The foundation I love. The setting spray isn't like up there with like the Fenty one, but I really do like it. I think it creates a beautiful finish. The only problem is once you start getting towards the end, it does leave a little droplets, so it gets kind of annoying. The brow pen, I'm going to have to try some more. I think there must be a method to it. However, when I put the setting spray on, it kind of disappeared, so that was kind of disappointing. The lips are a little bit patchy. The eyeshadow palette, I'm very disappointed in, considering the price tag. Like, it shouldn't be this difficult to do purple eyeshadow when you can literally do it with one eyeshadow. I did this essentially with one eyeshadow, and it's already got like, it's got some remnants of like the pink, as you can see it peeking through. So like, this could look so much better if I did it like actually from the ground up. And that, I think we're finished. This was a disappointing video. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe to videos every time something happens or I buy something. So that bell, you'll be notified when that's happening. Social media links, main channel, and affiliate links in description. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.